wanted to talk today about one of my favorite pistol cartridges, and here it is. This is a 44 Remington Magnum cartridge. And to compare it, this is another one of my favorite cartridges. This is 45 ACP. Now, this particular 44 Remington Magnum is the cartridge that I reloaded. This is a 240 grain hard cast lead bullet here. This is what they call a Keith style bullet because it's a semi-wad cutter, and it's because it was developed by a man by the name of Elmer Keith. Now, Elmer Keith was the guy who was behind the development of this cartridge. He started in the 30s. Elmer Keith was he was like a big hunter with handguns. He was a big sportsman, an avid reloader. He was a gun person. And he wanted a more powerful round to go hunting with his pistols. So he started with the 44 Special cartridge. And he started hand loading it to higher pressures. And he fired them through very strong, large frame 44 Special revolvers. Now, while he was developing these hot loads, I know that he blew up at least one cylinder while he was doing it. He blew up one of the guns at least. By the 1950s, in 1955, Elmer Keith finally convinced Remington to come out with the round, the 44 Remington Magnum, and he also convinced Smith & Wesson to come out with a pistol that would shoot the 44 Magnum. The pistols were first introduced in 1956. It was the Model 29 for Smith & Wesson. That was their first revolver that was chambered in 44 Magnum. Now, the 44 Magnum has a lot in common with the 357 Magnum. The 357 Magnum is basically a stretched version of the 38 Special, and the 44 Magnum is basically a stretched version of this 44 Special. The case is longer, not only to hold more powder for more powerful round, but it's longer so that you cannot put a 44 Magnum case into a revolver that was designed to shoot 44 Special and to keep you from blowing yourself up. So now I wanted to show you one of my guns that I picked up in 44 Magnum. Like I said, back in 1956, they introduced the guns, but they weren't really in the general public until 1957, the year I was born. And in 1957, Ruger, they came out with their version of the 44 Magnum pistol. And here it is. Here we go. I bought this baby in 1980. And this is a Ruger Super Blackhawk. They call the 44 Magnum version of the Blackhawk the Super Blackhawk, because it's a little stronger than the regular Blackhawk revolvers for the 44 Magnum cartridge. This has a 10.5 inch barrel, and back in 1980, Ruger called this model with this long barrel, they call it the Super Silhouette. It's because there was a sort of a sport where people would shoot at little steel silhouettes of animals at various distances. They had like chickens, they had rams, they had sheep, pigs, and stuff like that. They would shoot it up to ranges of 100 yards and more. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to make sure this thing is unloaded first so you guys don't get upset. Now, if you look at this cylinder here, you notice this cylinder. On the regular Ruger Blackhawks, there's flutes on the cylinders. They left the flutes off on the Super Blackhawks and 44 Magnum because they wanted to make sure that this pistol was strong and could take this powerful cartridge. Now, back when I bought this gun in 1980, the 44 Magnum was the most powerful pistol cartridge around there, or at least the most powerful normally produced pistol cartridge. Nowadays, you've got even more pistol cartridges you have that are even more powerful than the 44 Magnum. You have let's see, there's the 480 Ruger, there's the 454 Casull, there's someone makes a 460, I can't remember who, and then of course there's the Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum. Now these are all more powerful than the 44 Magnum. The thing is that I still look at the 44 Magnum and I see this as the most powerful pistol cartridge that you can buy that won't knock you on your ass when you shoot it. Some of these cartridges they've came out with, like the 500 Smith & Wesson, they're a little overkill. You have to really be a monster to shoot this thing. They're making these guns that you have to be a freaking gorilla to shoot them nowadays. But 44 Magnum to me is enough. This particular revolver, I ended up taking the wood grips off, and I put these nice Packmeyer rubber grips on here. And if you look close on these grips here, you'll see that as I put thousands of rounds to this gun, you see how these stocks have started to wear the rubber. And one time I shot like 200 rounds at a sitting, and I ended up with skid marks on my hand and a blister. These things are pretty powerful. I'm going to leave a link in the comments section here that'll show you my 13-year-old son shooting this gun for the first time. And it didn't bother him, but you know, when I started shooting it again after I hadn't shot it in 10 years, it hurt. Because I had separated shoulder over here, it freaking hurt. So I think that the people who are the person who's gonna shoot this gun the most in the future is probably gonna be my son, and maybe my daughter if she ends up getting into the guns. But my 11-year-old daughter, she's not into guns yet. Anyway, so this is a simple gun. This is a single action pistol. In other words, you have to cock it to fire it. But the nice thing that I like about this is that when you shoot it single action, the trigger pull is just like really smooth. There's no creep. It's just light. To me, it's light as a feather. This is a perfect gun for hunting. But you know, you can hunt people as well as animals with this particular gun if you had to. Of course, you wouldn't be carrying this thing on you normally unless you're out in the middle of some hunting expedition or something like that. But you could use any firearm for self-defense. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's see what else I have to say about this gun. There's not a lot else I have to say. I just enjoy shooting it. It's easy to shoot. I used to go shooting at a strip mine up when I used to live in Illinois, and I was shooting at man-sized steel targets at a mountain that was 300 yards away, and I could hit that target maybe 3 out of 6 shots out of the cylinder. It's an amazing gun. If you're into hunting, you can use this 44 Magnum pistol. You could use, especially one like this with the long barrel. You can shoot game up to elk size with this particular gun. And these guns with high penetration bullets, these have been used to take game up to the size of an elephant, believe it or not. So I hope you enjoyed this little video about this gun. And the next video, I'll probably show you this guy over here. This is another 44 Magnum. And I'll show this in another video. That's another story. So I wanted to thank my sweet wife, I love you, for making this video. And thank you very much for watching.